What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to From the Bench. I'm your host, Will Meadows, and today is our Friday edition of the show where we have a lot to talk about. Usually a Friday episode, from what we have known for the past few weeks, is it's all about football. And for the most part, it's going to be about football, but we also have basketball tomorrow at noon Eastern Time against Louisville. So we're going to talk about that. Obviously, we play this Saturday against Mississippi State at Neyland Stadium. So we're going to talk about that. There's a lot to talk about today, and we're going to dive into it all on this episode. But before I get into anything, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment how you feel about the game this weekend, both of them, football or basketball, and let's get right into it. So we're going to start with football today because I know that's the one people are probably most interested in, and rightfully so. I mean, we're this school is mainly known for football, and we're in the middle of playoff push for football, and obviously basketball just started. We play 2-7 Mississippi State this week. I think as bad as this sounds, and I saw somebody say this the other day on I think it was On3 YouTube. I think they're better than their record shows. Now, they did lose 41-17 to Toledo, so it's hard to say that. But with this new freshman, quarterback they have after Blake Shapen got hurt, I think they're a little better than their record shows. Obviously, they're in the SEC, which is a gauntlet, and it's not easy to win games at all in the SEC. I'm not saying this is a good team. We're favored by 24 for a reason, and I think we should have. I'm almost at a loss for words because that's such an odd statement to say that a 2-7 team is better than their record, but I slightly believe that. I'm not saying this team is really good. I said Arkansas was better than their record. That was true. But here we are. And I don't think I'm not saying Mississippi State's going to be another Arkansas for us because I think we're going to win this game pretty easily. But I think they're a little better than their record shows. Their quarterback is Michael Van Buren. He's a true freshman, and he's played great this year. He's been good all year just about for Mississippi State since he started playing. And he makes some freshman mistakes. He's a dual threat. He can run. He can pass. He's going to be a good quarterback for Mississippi State. They found their guy for sure. They don't really have much of a running attack. They've got two running backs that are just about even. I feel like I don't think one of them is necessarily way better than the other. They both their stats are just about identical. It's somewhere around 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I don't think we've definitely seen better rushing attacks this year, and I don't think our guys are going to struggle with that. But we're talking about Mississippi State here and not other teams that we've played. So I don't think we should have a problem stopping their offense. Their best receiver is Kevin Coleman by far. He's a very good receiver. He leads the team in receiving yards by almost like 300 or 400, I'm pretty sure. That's off the dome, but he's a good player. I think y'all know how I feel about Jermon McCoy. I think Jermon McCoy is going to handle that pretty well. But, it's SEC football. He's probably going to get his here and there, so you kind of got to live with that. On the opposite side of the ball, Mississippi State's defense is no bueno, excuse me. Not a very good defense at all. Like I said, they lost to Toledo 41-17, and Toledo's no good. They're not even one of the better Group of 5 teams, but yeah, they lost 41-17 to Toledo. So, that kind of tells you what you need to know about Mississippi State. The defense, it just gives up a lot of points. That's really all there is to say about it. They played UMass this past week and still gave up 20 points to UMass, who's not good either. They scored 45, so they still blew them out, but 20 points to UMass, that'd be like us almost giving 20 up to UTC. So to kind of put that in perspective for you. One thing that I'd love to see us get going early is the run game. Of course, Dylan Sampson, we say that time and time again, and we're going to keep saying it because it's true. He needs to keep going. Obviously, he just broke the record this past week. We all know what we're going to get out of Dylan Sampson, and we just got to keep pounding the rock. And like I say time and time again, that run game is going to open up the pass game for us and make life a lot easier for Nico, regardless of what anybody thinks, how fun it is. Obviously, we're past that point. I remember, like, in the beginning of the year, everybody's like, throw the ball deep. And now people are starting to understand, like, the run game opens up the deep ball. But, yeah, I think the offensive game plan needs to be just pound the rock and then throw it when you need to. And I think Nico's more than capable to shred this team apart. So there's that. Like I said, their defense is no good. We're gonna have to score points, obviously, because again, and I hate saying this because obviously they're 2-7, they're not very good, but you gotta win football games, and the SEC it's not easy. It's the hardest conference to do it in, and especially this year with how everybody's losing and everybody's getting upset. This, that, and the other. No win is guaranteed again, especially in the SEC. So I think the football game should be a good one. The quarterback matchup, I think we have the better quarterback. Again, I think Michael Van Buren is a great player, and I think he's going to be really, really good later on in his career in the SEC. But as of now, I think Nico's better, especially after his growth really the last 2 weeks against Alabama and against Kentucky. I mean, he's coming off of his best game, so just looking for exponential growth with Nico and hoping that keeps going. Running backs, obviously I said they've got two solid guys, but nobody that's just like popping off the sheet at all. But again, it's a two-headed monster. I mean, we've got a four deep room with Cam Seldon hasn't played that much, obviously, but Deshaun Bishop's been good. He was banged up last week. Peyton Lewis played great last week when he got the chance, and obviously we know how good Dylan Sampson is. They probably have the best receiver in the game. Kevin Coleman is probably the best receiver in the game, but as far as receiving room, I believe we have a better one. Brew's going to have a big game, just breaking tackles, just getting the ball in his hands. I'd love to see a big play from Dante Thornton or Chris Bozzell, one of those two. I'd love to see a big play connect this past or in this upcoming game. I mean, we've had some explosive plays, like scoring-wise, like not – I don't know if explosive is the right word, big plays. Like, I mean, I count the Chris Bozzell catch for a touchdown against Alabama as a big play, even though it's like 18 yards. But as far as explosive, deep down the field, I mean, we haven't really had one connect. And we all keep saying that it's a foot out of reach, and then there's drops. And I'd love to see a deep ball or two get connected this game. I think that's the main goal, outside of winning, obviously. But this is an inferior opponent. I would love to see a deep ball. That'd be my main goal for this game. Again, my prediction is going to be the line's 24. I don't know what the spread is 24. I don't know what the line is for points. My prediction is going to be 38. I'm going to say 38-10. That's my prediction. Maybe 38-14. Again, it's SEC football. It's not like we're going to beat this team like we beat UTC or Kent State, but I think we're a lot better than this team. So that's my prediction. That does. 38-10, yeah, that's 28, and then 38-14 is 24. So, yeah, I think they do cover. That's just my opinion. Again, and I really do believe, I've got a gut feeling, even though we have no reason to believe that it's going to happen, I've got a gut feeling that a deep play, and a deep ball, and explosive play is coming this week. So that's it for football. But for basketball, which is probably going to be a little better of a game, is Tennessee versus Louisville at the KSC Yum Center at noon Eastern time in Kentucky at Louisville. Louisville, just a little scoop into them, really struggled last year. I mean, one of the worst teams in Power 6 basketball. And people get confused by that term because they're like, I thought it's Power 5. In college basketball, it's Power 6 because the Big East counts as a power conference because they're so good. I mean, with Villanova and schools like that, like they count as a power conference. So Power 6, they were one of the worst teams in Power 6 last year. I mean, they were atrocious. But this year, I watched their latest game and their only game so far, They beat the mess out of. I feel like I say that term so much on the show. It beat the mess. They pounded Morehead State, and again, I know it's Morehead State. Morehead State's been in the tournament the last few years, or maybe just last year. But I mean, by like 40. Their best player was Kayshawn Pryor, 6'10", big, and he was off the bench for him. He had 18 and 10 off the bench. And I think this team's a lot better than miles better than they were last year. Not night and day, but I think we're obviously the better basketball team. But what it's going to come down to is hitting shots, and we all know Rick Barnes' teams struggle with that sometimes. And we all know every Rick Barnes team is going to play defense like their life depends on it, and that's what Rick Barnes coaches. You're not going to play defense. If you're not going to play for him if you don't play defense. But we're going to have to put the ball in the hole, and I think we're really going to have to look to Chaz Lanier to make plays and make shots for us this game. They've got some good guards. I mean, they've got a good all-around team. They've got some good guards. So Zakai and Zakai Sigler and Jemai Mashak are going to have to play some good defense. But, again, I think we know what we're going to get with defense. And I said that last time or last episode. Like, you know what you're getting with Jemai and Zakai. And Felix Okapar is a great defender, great rim protector, long. You know what you're going to get defensively out of a Rick Barnes coached basketball team. But will the shots fall? And I think that's going to be the win or lose reasoning. If you win, it's because you hit shots. If you lose, it's because you couldn't throw one in the ocean. And we all know that story. Different game, same story with Rick Barnes in the past. And obviously, Rick Barnes isn't the one out there going out and shooting the ball for him. But we, as with Rick Barnes being the coach, we've seen that to be the case sometimes. And again, last year it wasn't the same because we had a guy by the name of Dalton Connect, so he was a little different, and he just seemed to always have a night going for him. But I think Chaz Lanier is going to have to be the guy for us this year, and especially this game. This is the best team we've played so far. Obviously, it's our second game of the year, and they're better than Gardner-Webb. But until SEC play starts, I mean, it's one of the better teams we're going to play, in my opinion. I think this team's very improved since last year. And I think, in my opinion, college basketball is better when Louisville is good. My whole childhood, they were pretty good. And then last year, seeing them just be that bad was kind of mind-boggling. But obviously, a coaching change will do that. And I think that program's back on their feet this year. So we're going to have to see. Like I said, you just got to hit shots. That's the sentence for the game is hit shots. So I think both Vols teams should, come out with a win this week. They both are playing inferior opponents, but both playing teams that, you can't just scratch that one off and call it a W. But both teams are going to have to do what they're very capable of doing. Tennessee, it's just doing what you should. It's not really out of the ordinary. It's just play football and don't turn the ball over and run the ball. And you got to connect on deep balls. And I pray, everybody, say it with me. I pray to see one get connected this week for a touchdown or even just a big gain. So that's my goal outside of a win. That's my goal for the football team. And basketball, just hit shots, and you should win this game. Again, you know what you're getting defensive-wise out of this team. I mean, there's defensive menaces all over the floor. So Chaz Lanier and also Jason Gainey, I mean, we're going to have to hit shots, as are probably our two best shot makers on the team, and they proved that this past first game against Gardner-Webb. But that's going to be all for this Friday edition of From the Bench. I know it's kind of not all over the place, but we're jumping from sport to sport, and that's just how it's going to be for right now. Obviously, like when there's games like Georgia coming up this next week, there'll be some more. We'll probably have a guest next week for Georgia. Those heavy hitting games like that, we'll probably focus way more on football. But with it being Mississippi State, and we're also playing a pretty big game and the biggest game to date for basketball, I'm trying to even it out because I know both people are interested, especially with the basketball team just getting started. And obviously it being Mississippi State. So that's going to close out this episode of From the Bench, our Friday edition. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment your predictions for basketball and football. Obviously, most people will comment their football predictions, but I want to hear everybody's basketball predictions. I know basketball's a lot harder to get they're both hard to get the score right on, but basketball, just tell me what you think the keys to success are. I gave mine, but you give me yours down in the comments below. But thank you guys for watching, and go Vols.